That's 100 points.
Life been hard, but I stay focused, keep my head up. Read your Bible, I ain't talking, get your bread up. The situation that we in, I'm getting fed up. System keeping us so down, what you stand for? If she not mighty, so I wanna keep your legs closed. Spirit of the Father, fresher than the mantle. You beautiful, but I just wanna see your mantle. Brothers kill each other, it ain't accidental. I'm just trying to break the cycle. I got love, ain't got no rivals. Chillin', study, read the Bible. Cast away all my idols. Yeah, run to your throne. Yeah, Lord, your sanctuary. Yeah, I'm making my home. Why you mugging me like you wanna take my dome? I had time to think, and only you make me whole. Father up in heaven, yeah, I give you all the glory. Put my faith in you, cause you the author of my story. Author of my story. Father, you so holy. I don't really go to church no more.
Only you can make me
Only
whole.
you can make me whole.
What?
Never I won't sell my soul.
What?
Only you can make me whole. Yeah. Never I won't sell my soul. Yeah. Only you can make me whole. Black you. I've been seeking for the truth. Blues clues, I've been trying to find the clues. Thinking about my soul, I don't wanna lose. Thinking about eternity. Cast away my sins, yeah, into the sea. Looking for the truth and you my remedy. Read up in the word and I see it's the history of my people. Yeah, trying to spread your word, spread your light. Only you, Lord, make it right. With you on my side, I can fight, yeah. Israel, we the chosen people. Israel, we the chosen people. Yeah, for sure, you ain't just a Negro. Yeah, for sure, you ain't just a Negro. Read Deuteronomy 28. It said that we gonna be taking the slaves.
What other people have been taking the
slaves?
What other people have been taken away
from their home? Yeah. Father, I'm in my zone. Your spirit with me. Need some more. Yeah. Scripture for the trenches. Scripture for the trenches, and they're not even woke. Father, only you, yeah, I put in my hope. Future for us down here, it's already wrote. Looking in your words so you can show me the ropes. Yo people, put down the desert eagle. Rich or poor, shoot you equal. Scripts for the trenches, yeah. Scriptures for the trenches, yeah. Scriptures for the trenches, yeah. Script for the trenches, yeah. Scriptures for the trenches, yeah.
Start off giving blessings, honor, glory, and power be to him that sits upon the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever, man. That's right. The day of the Lord slain. We're going to be going into the book of Zephaniah or Zephaniah. And we're going to be addressing and investigating the prophecies that pertains to the last days and how we line up with them. That's right. We in a different times, you guys. We in a time that these so-called rulers of the quote-unquote new world has never experienced, man. And there is prophecy that covered this. And it's going to let us know where we're at and what's going to be happening in the implications behind it. Very important for you to be able to diagnose the problem. Other than that, you don't know what and how to address the issue to get that change that you're looking for. So what we do is we go into the scriptures and we'll figure it out. But let me get my background going, because I'm not going to be speaking in a flat, stale atmosphere. We're going to get this going, so bear with me. Yeah. Now I'm turning up the beat. Yeah, see, that's what it goes like. That's how it's supposed to go. All praises to the Most High Power, Bahashan Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. All right, so we're going to go to the book of Zephaniah, and we're going to start at the top. Chapter 1. Start at chapter 1 and verse 1. So I'm going to give you time to get there. While you getting it, I'm going to be pulling it up on the screen. Just give me one moment. All right, let me pull this up. I got to make sure that the background music is being heard too. So I'm going to do it like that.
Release this beat today.
All right, boom. All right, so as we go into the book of Zephaniah,
Release this beat today.
I'm gonna be reading out of the Matthew 1538, and I'm gonna try my best to scroll and keep the scrolling of the KJV in conjunction with what we're going to be reading from the Matthews. So as it reads, it says the word
Today.
of this is the word of Yahweh, which came unto Zephaniah, the son of Cusi, the son of Gedaliah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hezekiah, in the time of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah. This is the message. I will gather up all things in the land, says Yahweh. I will gather up man and beast. I will gather up the fowls in the air and the fish in the sea, to the great decay of the wicked, and will utterly destroy the men out of the land, says Yahweh. I will stretch out my hand upon Judah and upon all such as dwell at Jerusalem. In this way, or thus, will I root out the remnant of Baal from this place, and the names of Ramarans and priests. It's lucky I'm not scrolling. Excuse me. Or the Carmarins. Let's look at that word though. I don't want to blaze past the Carmarins. Carmarins. So we're gonna go into that. It's Comer. And yeah, today we just freestyling. Adulterous priests. All right. So okay, so the adulterous priests would be somebody that is teaching or under the disguise of teaching this Bible, but they're causing you ultimately to worship other gods. All right. So we know who fits that description. That's Pastor Pork Chop. All right. idol priests. All right. Is properly blackness or sadness. Check this out. Adulterous priests, used of any priest, whatever, by Syriac words relating to divine worship, are in Hebrew restricted to the worship of idols. And that is exactly what Christianity, and that is exactly what Islam is leading you to. Is the worshiping of idols. With the Christians, it's that cross, that wooden cross. And with the Islamic direction of things, it's that rock, what they call a Mecca stone. These are all just idols, false gods, or false representations of God. All right. It says, if the etymology of this word be inquired for, and that's Kamar, it says, is properly blackness or sadness, and as a concrete, one who goes about in black attire, mourning, hence an ascetic, or a priest. I can't say that word, ascetic, a priest, sad, mournful, hence an ascetic, a monk, an ecclesiastic. Let's get this. Watch this. Check this out. We're going to type in a pastor in a Baptist church. What are they usually wearing? Black, as we see in this picture. And he is a sad excuse, and if you ask me, piss poor sad excuse for a pastor. Piss poor sad excuse for a priest. And every last one of these smokers and jokers love to be dressing up in these black suits, black robes, black attired. And you see it happening far too much to say that it's just a mere coincidence. These are Carmelites, man. Look at that. Nothing but a bunch of Carmelites, man. All praises to the Most High Power for the knowledge and the revelation of these things. We get this done over here at One Nation Set Apart. All right. So let me go back. So now we understand what he's talking about. We got a more of an understanding of what was going on. So this is Pastor Pork Chop and other priests. The Most High God is going to rip out that reputation. When he says the name, he's going to cut off or root out the reputation of these Carmerims or these Carmelites. All right. So going down at 5, he says, yeah, and such as upon their housetops worship and bow themselves unto the hosts of heaven. All right, so the Most High is going, his ultimate goal, we can see, is to abolish Christianity and abolish paganism from being associated to him. All right, because that's something that you can actually look up and see today, that you're going to keep seeing a lot of idolatry, worshiping and acknowledging of other gods, but being will say, falsely qualified through its quote unquote association or its relation to the actual true God, man. That's right. That's why you see Islam not standing on its own, but piggybacking off of the Bible. That's why you can see the same thing happening with Christianity. Also, if you do any type of light investigation, you would easily come across the revelation that Christianity is not actually what is being taught in this book, but it has piggybacked off this book. Yeah, I said it. That's right. And God says, man, that's Baal. And he will cut off the remnant of Baal from this place. And the reputation of these Camerons with the priests. You know? And if you really look at that, as I looked at that again, the Camerons with the priests, it looks like he's actually going to cut them off using the priests, the real ones. Because these Camerons are false priests. And that's how he's going to do these things. And we actually can see that ideology being supported and reinforced throughout the scripts time after time. We see that in the book of Malachi chapter 2, how the Most High God was going to restore the priests. We could see that in Jeremiah 45, when we get the sons of Zadok, the actual priests. That's going. These are prophecies that talks about how the Israelites in the last days is going to set the record straight, and ultimately and in effect or in response or in reaction, the reaction out of that is going to be the abolishment of these false doctrines and the abolishment of these false ideologies that our people seems to apply to what God do and how he gets down. That all that record is going to be straightened with the Israelites, the true priests of the Most High God. You know? That's heavy, man. That's powerful. That's a powerful, revelating thing. What's going on there, Akbalat? You gonna hit the link, or you just gonna stay and watch? It doesn't matter either one, because we want to be doing a read. But if you want to hit the link, cool. Brother Yahosaf, also Yahosaf. But you see how you said that? You saying like, man, he gonna destroy this system. Oh, not only just white supremacy, false doctrine. He's gonna root it up with the real priests, and he's gonna root it up with brothers that be on their housetops. You know what I'm saying? Who else is them brothers that's on them housetops out there doing that watch, warning the people and teaching them of these law, statutes, and commandments? Those are the so-called black men that you see in them priestly garments, teaching these law, statutes, and commandments. So he says he's going to root these places off and cut off the remnant of Baal from this place, and them that worship. He's going to use it. He's going to use it through the priest and them that worship. He's going to cut off those worship the host of heaven upon their housetops, and them that worship, and they that swear by the Lord, and that swear by Malcolm. What is Malcolm? Sounds like Malcolm X, but we're going to look, we know it's not Malcolm X, but let's just go and investigate that word Malcolm. Honestly, it didn't never stick out to me too. I never really took note of that word Malcolm in the Bible. So it's good that we actually covering this right now. But Locke, Malcolm. I never seen the word Malak spelled out as Malcolm. That's that's suspicious to me. I got to do a closer investigation. Let's investigate. Okay, Malek. Okay, just like I suspected, king or royal. In other words, those that be sworn by Christ, because Christ is the king. That's right. Christ is the king. A king? No, we're gonna say the king, Christ. We know that. King of Kings is a title. The king of Babylonia? No, that's a title that Christ got too. So let's get it again. Let's look at that one more time. Excuse me for this sloppy mouth action. He said, and them that he's going to cut off the name of Baal with the priest, and these commerments with the priest, and them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, like when they be putting all these Christmas ornaments all over the bullshit, over their houses with the priests, and them that worship and that swear by Yahweh, and that swear by Malacham. So who would be this other counterpart to Yahweh? Christ. They swear by Christ. And them that are turned back from Yahweh. That's them people that's inside of that Islam crap. And all them other godless individuals that's actually sitting around there talking about they something else that's outside of any type of religion. They want to call themselves Hoteps, or they want to call themselves Egyptians, or just generally Pan-Africans. God says, well, I'm about to cut off all those doctrines and those teachings with them real priests that's going to slam dunk all that. And that's where we're actually at right now. In today's times, we can see who is actually out there setting the record straight, and at the same time abolishing false doctrines and ushering in the destruction / toppling of a wicked and perverse empire. All right, you know who that is. That's the Israelites, also known as the so-called black man. And them that are turned back from Yahweh, and those that have not sought Yahweh or inquired of him. We know exactly who that is. Like we said, the Egyptians and them so-called Egyptians, or them so-called Aboriginals. That's another new thing that people are starting to be deceived with. It's people thinking that we've been in America the whole time. And the way that you slam dunk that is, well, we know that we have a knack at inventions, and that doesn't line up with these people being, isolated into the Stone Age. These people was in the Stone Age. Let's not forget that. Moving on. He says, hold your peace. As a matter of fact, let me get back into the Matthews. I'm going down. Salakia. All right, he says, be still at the presence of Yahweh. All right? Be still at the presence. For the day of Yahweh is at hand. Yeah. Yahweh has prepared a slain offering and called his guests thereto. What? So not only, you got to hear what he's saying. Not only has ordained death and blood to be shed. All right, that's definitely covering the wrath of God. We can definitely associate that to God tripping on people. He's calling it the slain offering or sacrifice. He said, but at the same time, he has bid his guests. So he ain't just here to kill. He's here to bring his guests to this killing. Kal halal ha'avah, man. Hallelujah, man. That is profound. Oh, you're in the back? My bad. Akmalak. Oh, he said his phone's acting up. Oh, okay. All right. Well, if you get it straight, cool. If not, we're gonna get this in anyway, man. You know, still listen. It's a good read because it's pretty revelating, man. Especially if you're gonna look at it in the way that the message was meant to be received. You'll see, like, dang. So he said, like, hey, I'm doing a slain offering, but this is a party. There's going to be some guests. Don't just think that everybody is on the crap list. He's going to have a large hit list. We know that there's a hit list that God has. But at the same time, this is a sacrifice. So there's going to be some guests invited. And that's the 144 elected officials. We know that much for sure. And that's a blessing. We got to know, and we got to strive to be that guest. That's probably what Christ was referring to when he was talking about this great supper. You know, that is likened to the kingdom. The kingdom is likened to a great supper. And he invited the guests. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. But he says something, you know what I mean, about the guests, like how the guests don't, a lot of the guests come up with excuses on why they're not obtaining the invitation or accepting the invitation. So just make sure that we're not going to go too much into that, but just know and make sure that you are properly addressing that invitation. If you're going to call yourself accepting the invitation, make sure that we properly addressing it. That we got, you know what I mean? It's not just about like, oh yeah, I'm ready to show up. Because always remember that person, that one of the members that showed up to that, he wasn't dressed properly to an invitation. He didn't have on that garment. That was the wedding, but it was all in the same concept. He was giving us just analogies on how the kingdom was. But in both, with the Great Supper and with the wedding, there was an invitation set out. And also, we just got to make sure that we don't misaddress the invitation. Because the invitation is a slain offering. There's a slain offering that's going to be going down when that invitation is going to be offered to the proper guest. All right. So he says, I'm going to go back to the book. All right. We have Zephaniah 1:8. He says, and thus, or in this way, shall it happen. Talking about this slain offering and the guests. Keep those two things in mind. Matter of fact, you probably should underline that or highlight that in your book, so you can always be able to make that connection and never miss to address that in future time. So I'm going to underline that just real quick. Give me some time. Slain offering. Boom. And guests. All right. Because that is the way that God, like this is what it's saying. And thus shall it happen in the day of Yahweh's slain offering. All right. It says the Lord's sacrifice right here in the KJV. But in the Matthews, 100 years before the KJV came out, it was considered a slain offering. He said, I will visit the princes, the king's children, and all such as wear strange clothing. So he's covering the leadership and the general population, because if you look at the strange appareled people, that's like 99% of these people. 99% of these people out here is wearing strange apparel. You got a lot of men sagging, and it ain't just black men now. It's black, white, Mexican, Indian, booty heads, everybody. Everybody is just thinking that sagging is what it is. That's strange. And then it's not just the black women, it's the white women, Chinese women, now even the Arabic women. And I've been watching, you know. I'm an anthropologist. I study human behavior. And yeah, the Arabs, they kind of late, but now they doing it too. They were, if you ask me from where I'm standing and from my experience and study, the Arabs, they were the ones that held back from, you know what I mean, wearing the provocative clothing. But now you can see it more and more, you know, especially today, you can see it happening now. They conformed. What? They conformed. They gave up. They converted to this wicked, weird, confusing ass system. You know, it'll get you all. It'll get anybody if you're not actually fighting it. If you ain't fighting against it consciously, saying we ain't about to be a part of this wicked Western culture, it's only a matter of time, because it's coming at you all day, every day, from all directions. So he says, and thus shall it happen in the day of Yahweh's slain offering. I will visit the princes, the king's children, you know, and all such as wear strange clothing. In the same day also will I visit all those that tread over the threshold so proudly, which fill their Lord's house with robbery and falsehood. You know? That's them people, man, them false Christians, man. They fill in the Lord's house with robbery and falsehood by taking them tithes and not distributing it out properly. So you just rob the people that invested into your whole congregation thing, right? And then falsehood. You didn't even teach them that they have to keep the commandments in order to be qualified to enter and survive in the kingdom. You ain't teaching them anything. You just set these people up for ultimate failure, man. That's falsehood. That's robbery, if you ask me too. Because I would feel robbed if I have invested my whole afterlife / you know, a portion of my actual life into some old bullshit ass wild imagination that some so-called pastor leader has given me, that wasn't based off of any scripture. I would be looking at this dude like, man, not only is he a fraud, he stole my existence. He stole my reality. He stole my plan. Freaking thieves, man. That's why Christ says, man, all that comes before me ain't nothing but thieves and robbers, man. In other words, all people that's been teaching these lost, my bad, all who has been teaching, I guess you would consider it the Bible. And you know, man, it's almost like I'm giving it too much to even call it those things. But just for the sake of the conversation and to make it not so complicated, it's like all who has been teaching this book, but they wasn't teaching you the rules and regulations that this book is outlining and emphasizing. Christ said that they're nothing but just thieves and straight robbers. Worked you out your money. And some of these people just made you believe that you ain't going to be safe. Because you know how you know what the definition of robbery is, right? It's to obtain somebody's property or goods through force or fear. And if you look at churches, that's all they do is come through with this scare tactic. Scare tactic. You're going to die. You're going to burn in hell. You're going to be burning forever. If you keep thinking on that, man, you'll start, you know what I'm saying? You'll start getting kind of paranoid and feeling uneasy about dying. You like, damn, I'm kind of, you know, I don't want none of that. What I got to do to avoid that? He looking right at you like shaking that basket, like going on ahead and you know, address that. Then once you throw something up in there, you good. But he doesn't teach you right from wrong, which makes him just rob you, man, through fear. Got your money, freaking thief. That's right. And then that falsehood, we know you don't teach them commandments because according to Psalms 119 and 142, we just go to this real quick, just to let the readers know. I mean, the new people that just subscribed on. Psalms 119 and verse 142 will tell you what is the actual meaning behind the word truth that they're talking about in this book. All right, 142. He says, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. All right. So we see that the law is the truth. So anything that is leading you away from these laws is bona fide falsehood. Just instantly by default, because you know what the truth is. The truth is the laws. So what is Pastor Porkchop and what is all these people talking about when they're saying that the laws are done away with? When the laws, statutes, and commandments are the righteousness and they're everlasting righteousness, and the laws is actually the truth. Let's go to John 8:32 real quick. You'll see why they over here lying. We'll probably start at 31. I guess I'm gonna start at 28. He said, then said Yahushua unto them, when you have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall you know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father has taught me, I speak these things. So Christ only spoke what God has already had outlined in the Apocrypha and in the writings and in the prophets and in the Torah, also known as the New Testament and the Apocrypha. He said, and he that sent me is with me, and the Father has not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him. As he spake these words, many believed on him. Then Yahushua said to those Jews, oops, my bad. Press the wrong button. Then Yahushua said unto them, Then Yahushua said to those Jews, which believed on him, if you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed. And you shall know the truth, also known as the laws. And you shall know the laws, and the laws shall make you free. That's right. So now we know that Christ was guiding us back to the laws also, because the laws is actually what free you, and that would be the reason why Pastor Porkchop is sitting around there robbing you, being an agent of the white man, sitting around there stealing from you your reality, stealing from you your liberty, your freedom, your heritage, your longevity, stealing from you the quality of your life and existence, man. Robbing you and keeping you in a stagnant state of being. At best, punching in the time clock. At best, punching in the time clock. While your kids being raised by the television and these wicked ass witches and warlocks that they sit there and lock your kids up into a room while they sit there and pump them up with just indoctrination of pagan ideology. Time after time, day after day after day, while you're not there to know what kind of little subliminal bullshit that they slipping into your kid's head. Wondering why your kid grows up and turns into nothing but just a freaking pagan. And you just can't get them out of it. Sitting around there celebrating Christmases and looking at horoscopes. Whining and throwing fusses because their quote unquote birthday didn't go as expected. All this stuff is coming from these robbers. These robbers and these falsehood pushers. And that's why God has to rip this place up. That's why God has to send his guests, which is the 144 elect. That's why he has to send us out here, man. Set the record straight. Root up the name, the memorial, the mannerisms of Baal. Because this place right here, man, is good for nothing now. It's time for us to move on to something else. That's right. It's time for us to move on to something else, man. Why is it time for us to move on to something else? Because the spot is blown. Look at it. It said after these things, at Revelations 18:1, after these things, I saw another angel, another malach, like we just now read, come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, deceivers. In other words, falsehood pushers. And who's the number one falsehood pusher? Can't nobody be considered a falsehood pusher before you look at the white man. That's right. You look at that damn white man that the Bible speaks of, and you'll see that he is the devil. He is a falsehood pusher. He is the king. He is the manufacturer of lies. Must be ripped up by the Israelites. Is getting ripped up by the Israelites. But since it is being ripped up by the Israelites, man, we in a terrible day of the Lord, man. We in the day of the sacrifice of Yahweh. That's right. And he tells you the reason why, man. He said, because it's become a habitation of devils. This is the place where the liars get to become rich. Mansions, luxurious automobiles. He said, and the hold, the prison house. Because we ain't nothing but just a bunch of POWs, my people. I don't know what y'all thought. You got the game twisted thinking that you're actually free. No. You're in a hold. All right? But it's the hold of every foul spirit. And a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Prison system is packed with wicked niggas, man. Yeah, I said it. The prison system is packed with wicked niggas. The streets is packed and flooded with wicked niggas. Because this is the stronghold, the place of abode for all kinds of just bunch of ass backwards people, in other words. Because all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. That's why you see a lot of our people is so docile, man. Turns a blind eye to the fight. Turn the blind eye to the fact to them acknowledging that there's something wrong. We got people sitting around there that's bold enough and arrogant enough to say that slavery never even existed. Man, you're drinking of the wine of the wrath of these people's fornication, man. You know good dang well that these people have oppressed us, enslaved us, and then turned around and taught us how to not worship God and to break the contract. And even our leaders, the kings of the earth, the kings of the people that's at the bottom, the leaders, the main representatives of the people that's at the bottom, they have committed fornication with these people, man. That's why you see Martin Luther King rubbing shoulders with white folks. Talking about, yeah, you know what I mean? I'm here to, you know what I mean, represent y'all Negroes. Let's go about it like this. And them white folks just like patting that coon ass nigga on the back. Like, man, good job, man. Thank you for thank you for acting as a vent for them Negroes. Thank you for being a release of the steam that they were building up. Thank you. He said, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. We got sold out by these rappers. We getting sold out by these so-called black businessmen. They don't show up. They don't help us out. Even the ones that's speaking to us and that can get their voices across to the so-called black youth, all they do is tell them shit that'll just completely destroy their lives. You know? He said, and I heard a voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. What is the reason behind that, though? The reason behind that is because her sins have reached unto heaven. And God has remembered her iniquities. What? And God has remembered her iniquities. Yeah, that's right. Slavery has been brought back up to mind. The hate, the extensive, extra hate that the so-called white man, the so-called Mexican, the so-called Arab, so-called Chinaman has been implementing onto the so-called black man for the last 400 years at least, has come up to God's memory again, and he's recalling that. He's like, man, I remember how y'all been getting down, man. He said, especially now that we have these brothers out here teaching our people to come out of her, that they don't be partakers of the sins of this place. He's like, oh, okay, when I hear all that, he's like, I'm gonna start remembering what these people actually did, and God's like, all right, I'm calling in on that debt. Where my money at? I'm here to collect. I'm here to reward you for what you have done, and the wages of sin is death. That's right. He said, reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her. Double according to her works. In the cup which she has filled, to her, double. In the cup which she has filled, fill to her, double. You know? Let's go back to the Zephaniah. Oh, people are like, what does it mean by the double? Why you cover that? All right. I guess I'm just going to show you what's on my mind when it's talking about double. Check this one out. There you go. What do you think? No. Ain't this some BS that they didn't pull? Right? What you know about all that? They don't want to teach you about this. They don't want to teach you about this anymore. They actually are sitting around there trying to get the people to pass laws to where they don't teach you about slavery in school because it's giving white folks a guilt trip. They ought to feel guilty. They ain't never righted the wrong. You damn right. Your ass is guilty. About time somebody sit around here and made you feel solely responsible for what the hell y'all been doing for the last 400 years. Yeah, I said it.
Special.
This is about time, man. Fuck you talking. Excuse my language, children. Excuse my language, children, if you're listening. My bad. I'll clean it up. I'm saying, man, about time, man. And yeah. They thought that all this stuff that they were showing on the movies was just going to be a glorifying incident. Oh, look how we had these Negroes. Because I remember the snickering and the laughing and the jokes that came after or during these movies that they were showing us, man. You know, I remember in school, they showed me the movie Roots. We had to watch the whole thing. And
So special.
I think that I was going to fight I think every time we watched it, because we didn't get to watch it. We didn't watch the whole thing in one day. They had us watch it. It was, if I recall, it took us, it took us days to get through it. But every time, man, it wasn't cool. Because these white folks, man, at the end of the day, man, they think that shit was funny. When they reminisce and go back on how they had us, man, they think it's funny because they know they can't get away with it now. They know that they're way too afraid to come at us like that now. They know that they can't actually do them things and be safe like the way they were
So
now.
special.
So when they see it, that shit makes them feel cool. They like it. You're like, damn, man, at least back then you was able to, you know what I mean, come at them niggas like this. So they snicker. They laugh and they think that shit is funny. Excuse my language, children. I'm gonna try to clean it up. It's just sometimes you get mad, you know what I'm saying? But I try not to mix my emotions into what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta try to stay level-headed. So, but it makes you mad. But God said, I remember them inequities. I remember all that stuff that they were doing. The holding you back. Keeping y'all down.
So special.
The redlining. And the Jim Crowing. You're like, yeah, man. Let's get it. Let's bring it out. He says, excuse me. Because I'm trying to get to the Matthews. I'm just trying to catch y'all up right here. All right. We at 10. All right. He said, at the same time, Says Yahweh, there shall be heard a great cry from the fish port, and an howling from the other port,
special.
and a great murder from the hills. And we can see.
I haven't been down there yet.
Excuse me.
Tomorrow.
Hey, hold on. Hold on.
I've been here.
Hold on. Akmalak says go to Deuteronomy 18 and 18. My bad. I wasn't looking at the screen. It says they put you in fear, take your money, then leave you in a state to where you still go to hell and dwell in hell. That's right. You know, that's the truth.
So special.
What we got at Deuteronomy 18 and 18, Akmalak, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna slide there real quick before we read on. All right, man. Hold on.
No, catch wasn't.
I said I've tried.
Hey, yo, Boker.
Just ain't no use.
My bad for the background. But yeah, let me go to that. I'm gonna slide to that 18 and 18.
But it just ain't no use.
Okay, Deuteronomy 18 and 18. He says, I will raise him up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. That's right, man. You know, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my reputation, I will require it of him. That's right, man. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. You know what I'm saying? Them Carmelites, man. Those are the ones that be speaking, swearing in the name of God, and they be lying. God didn't say that the laws are done away with. God didn't say that he had a problem with us actually keeping those laws. They actually will teach you, these dang robbers and falsehood mofos, man. They will actually teach you that God was looking at them laws and was like, I don't really like that. I gave that to y'all, you know. But you know what? You can't even do those. In other words, he was wrong when he had those expectations for us. That's what they teach, these darn liars. I'm going to clean it up for you. I'm going to clean it up. And he said the Messiah spoke the Father's words and came in his reputation. Come on now. When Christ says that not one jot or one tittle in no wise shall pass from the law, man. And in no case. When he said in no wise, that means in any scenario. That actually still covers even if Christ died and rose from the dead. That still would not disqualify the law, because Christ, out of his own words, says, "In no wise shall they, shall not one jot or one tittle perish from the laws." So Pastor Porkchop is nothing but a snake, and the white man ain't nothing but a snake. They ain't nothing but snakes, and we gotta wake up. And we ought to like go hard, real hard, because, man, we lost too much to be sitting around here half-stepping, beating around the bush towards going back and getting under the covenant of God, man. Got too much ground to cover. We lost too much for too long. And at the end of the day, man, the day is ending. At the end of the day, we're at the end of the days. So we ain't got time. I'm talking about cold turkey, a gang of stuff. Because you're going to have to be able to figure out how to cold turkey anyways. Let's not sit here and beat around the bush and warm up to the process. No, cold turkey. Like, why? Like, I don't care. You it doesn't seem like God's plan. And honestly, we needed a mediator because God, he don't play. I don't want to put nothing bad on his name, but from what I understand, he has very, very high expectations. And when I see that, it sends shivers through my soul. Because then I started looking desperately inside of me. I started looking desperately for help. I'm like, who's gonna help me? And then I settle on. I'm like, oh, you're cool, man. I'm like, thank God. Seriously, I'm not using it as just in a phrase. I'm saying it like realistically. Thank God for Christ, man. Thank God for Yahushai Hamashiach, our mediator, man. We need a buffer. You know, man. I know I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but we need a buffer, and that's a good word. So let me get back to the lesson. So at 10, he says, in that time, in the same day, I will visit all those that tread over the threshold so proudly, which fill their Lord's house with robbery and falsehood. Yeah, man, and it is just like their Lord's house, because God ain't dwelling up in there, not in those churches, not near those steeples. Got me twisted. I've read enough of this book to know that God don't be dealing with those people. So all that stuff that they going through and all the stuff that they dealing with up in there, if anything is actually happening, it's demonic and satanic. He said, at the same time, says Yahweh, there shall be heard a great cry from the fish port, and a howling from the other port, and a great murder from the hills. Howl you that dwell in the mill, for all the merchant people are gone. And guess what? Look. They're still talking about the supply chain has been disrupted. Look at that. Supply chain disruption. Europe and America's supply chain all's been disrupted. Boom. Bottoming out, flatlining, and going at a slow crawl. And we know that this right here at this edge it's cutting off of 2021. It ain't showing you the whole 2021, and we're already on the back end of the 2021. This is showing you like in May and June. Look at the lines. Look how much of there's an inch in between each year. So this would be boom, June, yeah, July, August, September, October, November, December, Then it'll be January, February, March, April, May, and right here in the middle, June, July, August. So you look at this chart, you got to know how to read chart because these motherfuckers be lying and they're sneaky. But look at the supply chain plummet, boom, go to a slow crawl. But if we go and look at right now, which they're not trying to show us, but you can see the images of all the ships stuck out bay. Let me find it. Where is it at? Let me get it. I'm just freestyling because this is just common knowledge that I have, so I'm able to bring up these incidences because I just always stay on top of the news and I want to, you know what I mean, go on their supply chains and all that. But you'll see, you can just easily look this up. Watch this. See right here, this was 3 days ago. They say, here's what it will take to resolve the supply chain disruptions roiling the U.S. economy. What? Hold on before we click on it. Why China's supply chains are breaking down. So China, United States, the trial over. Okay, whatever. That wasn't part. Okay, so that's really good. I like to see the China right along with the America because if you look at China, if their supply chain is being disrupted, it's not only happening on the end of the United States, it's actually happening at the source because those people make up, I think, like 70% of our goods. I think the number is even higher. So if China is having a disruption in their supply chain, think about that. Just think about that. That means that this supply chain thing is way bigger than we think. It's way bigger than they're leading us to believe. Some people don't even know that there's a supply chain disruption, but they are telling you that you have to go and do what? Do your Christmas shopping early this year. I heard them. Do your Christmas shopping early, and because there might not be anything out there, and they already letting people know, yeah, and there's a lot of items that you're just not going to be able to get. So, you know, basically try to scrounge up what you can because it's going down. They're saying this. I'm gonna find a different playlist real quick. Excuse me. I'm just gonna go on that one. Hold on 1 second. I have to use the restroom. Use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
SenVStyle.com. 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 SinVStyle.com. SinVStyle.com.
All right, I'm back. My bad.
SinVStyle.com.
Who's that? We got a guy named High Elevation Network. He says, you're not under the law. No, I'm not under the law. You are under the law.
SinVStyle.com.
You're under the punishment of the law. Me? We are operating in the spirit. See, let me see. I gotta address this with this guy right here. All right. So this spirit that people are thinking that they have that replaces the law, and they think that, well, I have the spirit, so I replace the law. The spirit has replaced the law. They don't understand. Watch this. We can go to Ezekiel 36:25. So you can get a clear understanding about this spirit that you believe has replaced the law. Okay. He says, check this out. He says, I'll start at 23. I'll start at 22 just to get the full thought. This is the thought. That symbol shows you that we're on a new thought. Okay. Therefore, say unto the house of Israel, thus says the Lord God, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which you have profaned among the heathen, wherever that you've been, wherever you went, whither you went. Okay, we don't use that word whither anymore. That's an old English terminology. Today would be wherever you went. He said, and I will sanctify my name, or my reputation, my memorial, which was profaned among the heathen. All right, which you have profaned in the midst of them. So if you look at God's name, his reputation, you can't talk about God. I'm talking about in all actuality. You can't actually talk about God without the part about him instituting a covenant that contained laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what he's actually known for. It's not the only thing, but it's definitely a primary characteristic of God. And I'm only speaking to you in a simplified fashion. You can't separate God's reputation. All right? But like a lot of the people has been led to believe is that you don't need God's laws, statutes, and commandments. That's that's profaning his reputation in front of all these other nationalities. Whoever the Israelites are, wherever they're at, and whoever they're saying these things to or conducting themselves as amongst the heathen, the non-Israelites, that's a profanation. They're profaning God's name. Reading on, he said, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, says the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. So, I would like to ask High Elevation Network, do you see the contrast that has been outlined? First, there is a behavior that God's chosen people, all right, are displaying that is unacceptable according to God. He sees this certain behavior unacceptable. All right? And then he says that there will be a acceptable behavior or sanctified fashion of you. Well, when I am sanctified in you before their eyes.
Lucas.
So you would have to ask yourself, when has that ever occurred? And if it hasn't ever occurred, what would it look like? I would say it would look just like what you see today, which is the so-called African American now keeping the commandments and not profaning actually his reputation, because his name, I'm gonna have to get there. You have to know what name means. Sham. Name, renown, fame, famous, what he's famous for. You see that? Let's go down some even more on the biblical usage. Yeah, they use it in the English for the word name. Okay, we get that. The word sham gets used as name. All right. Reputation, fame, glory, memorial, or monument. You see that? We'll see. It's a sham or shame. So we know that we're not talking about the shame of God that's being profaned. So with that word, we can disqualify that. A primary word, perhaps rather from 877-60, through the idea of definite and conspicuous position. Compare an appellation as a mark or memorial of individuality. By implication, honor, authority, character. So all these things has been changed and altered and profaned about God when we turn around and say that the laws are done away and that we don't need to know them anymore. That is how you profane his authority, because his authority is what was accepted in the institution of the laws. All right? His character was experienced through what he deemed as acceptable and unacceptable, not only behavior, but on how you relate and communicate with him. All right? So God was known for the commandments. And here we are still today, perpetuating the same BS that God is time after time is warning us about in the prophets, especially when it's pertaining to the last days And why is the last days coming with death and destruction? It's because people are in violation of something. What violation would it be? The laws. We're going to go to 1 John 3 and 4. Because we have to know these things. We have to know that we actually have been tricked and bamboozled to undermine the authority and the honor, the honorability of God. Check this out. Whosoever commits sin transgresses also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. And you know that he was manifested to take away our sins. So to take away our transgressions of the law, and in him is no transgressing of the law. In him is no transgressing of the law. Now let's go back to Ezekiel. Watch this. Now watch this. And I will sanctify my great name. I will cleanse my name and clear the record on his great reputation. Ain't nothing wrong with what God was already known for and what he done with the Israelites and the decrees and the ordinances and the redirection of the misbehaving people. Like, what are you talking about? He says, which was profaned among the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, says Adonai Yahweh, or the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. He says, because I will take you from among the heathen. This is the whole implication behind us actually getting God's reputation back right. His reputation is the law, statutes, and commandments. The implication behind that, the reason for this to be happening is because he will ultimately take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. Watch this. Look at this picture. Matter of fact, oops, my bad. Transatlantic slave trade route. You see that? They have scattered us to all countries. That transatlantic slave trade was a frenzy, right? It was a worldwide gold rush. What are you talking about? This is when cotton hit the scene. These people were looking like cotton. Cotton was like gold. You know? These are the slave routes. We went everywhere. They scattered us to all the places that anybody would desire to be. All good weather.
Right.
They put us all there. This was the establishing of the New World Order. God did this. Well, but he says that he's going to set his name straight. And the reason behind that is because he has set in his mind to take you from among the heathen one day, and that's now, and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land, right? Only people that can actually have an appetite to that offer would be, at least for the, I'm talking about, that'll have the most appetite for it, will be the black man. And I'm talking about by far. Because nobody else actually needs no divine salvation to go to their own land. Because, like, for instance, the Mexican, he can go to just to Mexico. It'll take him less than a day from California. He'll be straight in Mexico, in his own land. The Canadian can do the same thing. If he wants to leave Canada, he can go to Europe. The Chinaman, he can go to any choice of wherever, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm kind of confused about a differentiation between one Chinaman to another. I don't really think that it's important enough to try to decipher. I just go ahead and just settle it all on, like, yeah, hey, Chinaman. You don't like it, you know what I mean? When you get to China, be my guest. Figure out one Chinaman from another. But from where I'm standing at right now, it's not important. I can just generalize it as, you're Chinaman. Well, the Chinaman, the Filipino, the Vietnamese, the Korean, they all look the same. Whatever they're from, they can say, you know what? I'm done with the United States. Peace. I'm gone. I'm going back to my own land. My great grandfather owns this amount. He's over here in this place, and you know what I mean? We got whoop-de-whoop holding that up and everything. I've been sending money back over there, so the place is gonna look nice. No, what? Yeah, don't forget about that detail. They come over here, send the money back to their places so they can become kings and princes and rich people. Because it's not a coincidence that the American dollar quadruples and folds once it leaves these barriers and these boundaries. That's not a coincidence. It's done purposefully. They do it intentionally. Because if they didn't do that, too much wealth would be circulating. Too much money would be still circulating amongst the populace, to where everybody in this nation would be getting every fucking thing, excuse my language, children, for cheap. So what they do, they take the money and they have it going out to other places, keeping the dollar going up and up and up. The money doesn't get circulated back into this country the way that you're thinking. They don't burn as much dollar bills as they used to before immigration. These are the things that they don't teach you. These are the things that if you don't sit down and actually understand that you're in prison planet, and it's actually intentionally geared against the black man of right to rise and prosper, these things will go right over your head, and you'll be just like the rest of them Negroes out there, always asking, man, why the white man do me like that? It's because it's prison planet. You've been a bad boy. God has sent us to the worst babysitter created. And you're not and you're not going on no field trips and you're not getting off of the punishment until you address your misbehavior. That's just what it is. We don't have a choice to hear and try to undercut God by saying, well, I believe in Christ. Okay, good. Now you're back in the covenant. You better go look at the terms, or you're going to be worse off than what you were. Like, trust me, you don't want that smoke. You think that you can actually stand up before God without studying on how he gets down? I'll give you a week. I'm serious. I'll give you 8 days. You won't be here. You're going to mess up. If the other 9 commandments don't get you, the Sabbath is going to get you. If you don't rob, kill, steal, have sex with people's wives, use the Lord's name in vain, blasphemy or whatever, if you don't know the Sabbath, that's the day that we'll stone you. Be out there picking up sticks. You're dead. So what is this BS that people think that the law, we are no longer under the laws? Paul wasn't saying that. He was talking to in particular people that was walking in the spirit. Now let's get this. He says, for I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and bring you into your own land. Now watch this. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. You're going to look in the laws, and that's exactly what it's teaching you on how to avoid. Is the worshiping of other idols and the defiling of yourself and others, period. So how are you going to try to tell me that the laws are done away with when his whole implication for the last days is for you to get rid of your filthiness and the worshiping of your idols? The only way that you can make sure you actually staying within them guidelines is if you actually know what is right and what's wrong, and those are only written in the Old Testament, also known as the laws. So he said at 26, though, check this out. Here's that spirit. He says, a new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you for what? So I can feel all warm inside? No, for real. So I can love every single thing, including the birds, the bees, the flowers, and the trees. Because that's what they teach you. They teach you to sit there and love dogs. Be harmonious with bugs in nature. But God didn't say I'm giving you my spirit so you can love everything like a fanatic. He says, I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. So how is the law done away with when God said when he gives us the spirit, he's going to cause you to walk in his statutes and his commandments. Instead of you being possessed by an evil spirit that causes you to do all that other bullshit. Excuse my language, children. I told you I'm going to try to clean it up. Instead of you going out there doing sins like devils and demons is understood today will cause you to do things. He said, well, I'm going to give you my spirit. Instead of a devilish spirit or a violent spirit or whatever your area of problem is. He said, I'm going to take that out and then give you my spirit so I can cause you to walk in my statutes instead of you committing sins. Like what the evil spirits causes you to do. It's like basic math. You know, you just got to understand the terminology that they're using. And don't stand on the New Testament alone. Because you got to always keep in mind that in the time when the New Testament was being written, they only had the Old Testament. So none of these people had any knowledge or any type of indication on how to gauge if somebody was coming from God or not, unless they were able to line him up with what was written in the Old Testament. That's how you are able to determine if this is a godly dude or this is a false prophet. That's why you can just take the whole Quran and just crumble it up and throw it out. That's why you can take Christianity and just never walk inside that building just ever again. You can just look at it and say, you know, all right, I'm done with this, and just walk off. You don't have to go back to a church building ever again in your life. Why? They're nothing but thieves and robbers. Right? He says he's going to cause you to do these law, statutes, and commandments and keep his judgments and do them, and you shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. In other words, not die. You're actually going to be able to be there. He said, and you shall be my people, and I will actually be your God. But you got to keep the commandments. You got to know his statutes and his judgments. Other than that, he can't be your God for long, because there's already laws that is going to require for you to be stoned when you break the Sabbath. And yes, we'll stone you. I'm definitely ready. And I know a lot of people that is definitely ready to stone somebody for blowing the spot. Don't you know what you might be doing to somebody else when you don't know the laws? This stuff is too easy. But you gotta wake up. Once you wake up and you be like, man, what are we doing here, man? Like, wait a minute, we didn't already tried this no law thing. How long are we gonna keep this up? How bad does it have to get? We literally got kids thinking that they're gay. That's what you get when we say, oh, we ain't under the laws. It turns into a frenzy, a free-for-all. Anything goes. Just, for real, anything can go. Let's make sure we have, some type of sentimental explanation behind it. Like, God made everybody. So now you can turn my kid out. You can literally take my kid, because this is what happens when the laws are done away with, or we're not under the law, as some people feel so relieved about. Because you don't even realize that you're saying it from I'm so glad that they're gone. Why would you promote this to me? Why would you come to me and say, man, but you're wrong. The laws are done away with. Damn, man, you feel was that a victory? You making it seem like it was something good. The laws being done away with is horrible. We're in trouble. We're in trouble now. Now we got thieves and murderers and rapists and that's what you get when the laws are done away with. Been there, done that. Let's do something else. Been there, done that. Doesn't work. Let's do something else. Time to move on. What are we doing now? We're gonna sit here and literally keep on regurgitating that same old concept. Oh, the laws are done away with like it does me any good. Yeah, man, I didn't mean to rip your head off, man, but that's, what I'm saying? It's annoying to see somebody, I'm talking to somebody on here, to see somebody that is an adult that will say something so uninformed. Because you got to sit there and ask yourself, can you tell me how the laws are done away with and why would they be? Why wouldn't I need good advice? For real, try to explain that. See, Pastor Pork Chop's a liar. So now let's get back to the Zephaniah, because God says that he's destroying in the last days, man. He's destroying people. For what? For nothing? You better start realizing that God is talking about the day of the Lord. And it's going to be a bloody day. It's a slain offering. Why? If we don't even have any laws. That stuff don't make no sense. Christianity is so incomplete. It's actually a joke. You can just laugh at it. Once you read this book and then you go and watch a pastor, you'll be laughing at this clown. You're looking at this dude like, this guy. And he's totally dependent to be talking to an uninformed crowd. He knows good dang well that you're stupid. That's the only reason why he's boldly speaking. Because if he actually even thought halfway that you were actually going home reading this book, this dude would have been changing up his sermons. His sermons would have gotten better and better and better and better. He would have been more and more scripts, more and more scripts, laws and laws and laws. Like, that's how he would have got. He would have just turned into a snowball effect. Next, this guy is just teaching you the Torah. But he doesn't believe that you're smart. He believes that you're stupid as hell. No matter of fact, he bets you're dumb. And he calls in on that bet every time he slides that collection plate. Every time he slides that collection plate, he's calling on that bet. He's like, they're stupid. He's like, watch, slide it through. He's like, look how much money they paid me. These people are lost. But he ain't gonna tell you that. He gonna tell you that you're already saved. How come the word saved changes? We know what the word saved is implying to. We know what it means when we're dealing with everyday life in English. We know what it means. But just lo and behold, all of a sudden when you get into the Bible, it just totally loses its definition. And it turns into something else. You're like, salvation. And then the eyes get all glittery and you're like, what's going on here? What is that? Like what? Being saved. You're like, salvation. And what's that? I remember when I was on drugs. They come with a story. I was on drugs and this and that. And you be like, so how you doing right now? Oh, well, I'm okay. I'm working from paycheck to paycheck, and I ain't doing too well with my health and that, and whoopie whoop over here then died, and this and that has happened. And you be like, you're crazy. Like you're crazy. They gave you delusion when you went in there. That's what they did. They hypnotized you. Made you completely oblivious to your surroundings. You don't understand. You ain't taking anything in for what it's worth. You're like, no. You know what I mean? It's bad. But this is centuries upon centuries of indoctrination. All right? But watch this. He says, so let me just check in. Oh, shalom, Big O. He said, go to church, fam, and ask for the Holy Spirit. Keep the commandments, man, and you will obtain the Holy Spirit. Try that one. Watch this. He says, and my bad, we was at 12. Oh, no, 11. He said, how you inhabitants of Mektesh, for all the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off. And we see that happening today, man, with the supply chain being disrupted. We see that happening today with the drought. They call it an exceptional drought that has never been over here in this nation for 1,000 years. So, and I'm in California where all your guys' vegetables ends up on your table. They come from right here. And all your vegetables and all your fruits is through. They're sour, they're hard, they're tasteless, they're withered, they're warped. That's the food we get in right now. Why? Because God has stricken the land and he has stricken these people. That's just what it is, man. He's cutting off the merchants. He says, and this is why you can go in the grocery stores and you see them looking like third world countries. Empty shelves everywhere. And they're constantly telling you that it's going to get even worse before it gets even better. They say, when is the supply chain thing going to get back in order? They were just like, sometime in 2022.
Yeah, it was something that was coming all the time. But it had to reach a certain point.
Right. Right.
We reached that point. Right. Yeah, you notice.
Like they say, they actually have a decree in the Messianic people's handbook.
Yeah.
It's lie until everybody knows the truth.
Right.
Bruno, you spazzing.
They don't care. They go half of them still believe it, So they just lie until everybody knows the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We're a country that don't produce nothing.
Country that don't produce nothing. And I just outlined how China, their supply chain is disrupted also.
Yeah.
So that means we're having this backup. It's not coming just from a domestic backup. This is the international backup.
Right.
It ain't looking pretty.
Purchase your tracks today.
They ain't never seen this either. They saying it. They're like, this never happened.
This is what happened in Satan's New World Order.
No, this is what's happening in the destruction of Satan's New World Order.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
This New World Order leads to destruction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And
It's a self-destructive.
yeah,
It's a self-destructive
yeah,
system.
They let all the manufacturing go to a country where people don't even get paid for their manufacturing.
Right.
You know, you better do it.
Yep.
You know, so it's real cheap. And now all the stuff is coming from this one place. You know what I mean? Everybody's got ships coming in to bring stuff. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
No.
And now it's like the harbors are not big enough to hold all these ships, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're backed up, you know, waiting to get in. You gotta get in line to get into the harbor. You know?
Right. And the problem is because God says it right here, is because all they that bear silver are cut off.
Right.
They're cut off,
Can't
man.
get it in here.
Yeah.
This stuff is bottlenecked all the way back into China.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy,
The
man.
Chinese, they can't bring enough goods to the harbor to ship out because it's full.
Right. So it makes it to where they can't get their material.
They can't get the product they make it out because there's too many of them going
They
out.
can't get the products going out, and they can't get the material coming in.
Right. Yeah.
It turns into a gigantic ripple effect that is really, really, really extensive. It
Right.
goes real far. It goes all the way to Africa now.
Right. Yeah.
It's gonna have the Chinamen walking around,
Right.
sweeping the floor
Yeah.
when they should have been loading up more material and resources,
Right. Yeah.
laying people off.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because they don't speak it directly, but when you listen to them, you got to be able to read in between the lines. And you'll see them. They don't have no end of this in sight.
Right. No end in sight.
No end in sight, man. They don't know when, because they never had this. So it's hard to tell you exactly how it's going to get back to order, because they're still trying to figure out how this shit even happened.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We are at a...
Why didn't somebody see it coming?
Because COVID. You can't predict it. They actually thought that this place could never have a pandemic. They thought the world knew enough about diseases to where a pandemic was impossible.
Right.
They actually put out information about that,
Yeah,
gloating
right.
and boasting about that.
That pandemic started with the cold virus. When you get a runny nose, you know what I'm talking about? Your nose is stopped up. You know, and that's all that happens to you. That's what it came from, that virus. Not a flu virus, a cold virus. All of a sudden it popped up with several different mutations in one virus.
Right.
How did that happen?
God.
It was done by someone.
No, God.
Purpose, right?
God.
Right.
God is saying to them, no, it's not man-made.
Right.
He said, it's not. He said, you guys are being attacked by something.
Right.
Something is attacking you consciously. You come up with a vaccination and mutate it then.
Right.
Before you can even get the vaccination out. It already mutated.
Right. I refuse into something else.
Yeah. Letting them know, like, nah, I'm consciously
Yeah.
aware and I'm
Right.
interacting with you.
Right. I'm going for the photo.
Right.
Right.
That's why he said, even the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
They're going to know. But watch this. So, we're going to go at 1 and 12. He said, and it shall come to pass in that time or he says, at the same time will I seek through Jerusalem with lanterns. And the according to the scriptures, the law is a lamp. What? According to what is that? Psalms. Is it Psalms 40? Where's Akmalak at, man? Where's Akmalak at when you need that dude, man? Akmalak, what was that? Psalms 40? Or was it Psalms 19? Anyways, the law is a lamp. We do cover that multiple times.
The law is a what?
The law is a lamp.
A lamp?
Yes.
Like a light?
Yes. So when he says, and at that same time, will I seek through Jerusalem with lanterns or lamps, and visit them that continue in their dregs, and say in their hearts, tush, Yahweh or the Lord will do neither good nor evil. That's these same people that says the laws are done away with. We're not under the law. Inadvertently, they're actually saying, God ain't going to do anything to us. We're good.
Right.
You know?
We love our neighbors ourselves, and we love God with all our heart and soul.
Right, but how do you do that?
How do you, if you love God with all your heart and soul, why do you obey His commandments? You know?
Yeah, that's simple.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's what it says too in 2 John 1 and 6. It says, this is the love of God, that we do His commandments.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
He says, their goods shall be spoiled. It's the ones that's saying that the laws are done away with, or we're not under the law. He said, their goods shall be spoiled, and their houses laid waste. All right, that's a warning right there for y'all, man. This is what is brewing in the near future. Your goods being spoiled, and your houses laid waste. They shall build houses and not dwell in them. And that's crazy too, because you can see that happening right now with the homeless people. Got all these houses and they didn't build. But look how many homeless white people is out there.
Yeah. I don't know how it is here, man, but in Oklahoma City, panhandling is against the law. So you can't ask nobody for no money.
Damn.
So everybody that's out there got the little cardboard sign. And it'd be one guy on the corner, one guy on the island in the middle of the street, another guy in the other corner over there. All day, every day, everywhere you go.
That's how it is here too.
Right.
They outlawed the panhandling thing too. Like I think they can only do it like at a certain time or something like that. But after that,
right,
it's not legal.
Right.
And a lot of them guys, they just doing the cardboard on the corner.
Yeah.
Sitting there.
Yeah, sitting there.
Yeah, they looking. I done seen a dude. He was so dirty that he made the area that he was standing at, which was made out of dirt, dirty.
You're right. Yeah.
He made the dirt dirty.
He made the dirt dirty.
I'm serious.
Right.
He made the dirt. It was a dirty spot where he was at. Almost looked like maybe a grenade went off right there.
Yeah.
But it was him.
All right.
It was him just being there every day.
Yeah.
To where now it's like you can see it. It looks like a grenade went off right here.
All right.
It's like a little charged spot, but it's not burnt with fire.
Right.
It's just you can see it's dirt and silt.
Yeah.
It was bad, man. You know, but God said, He literally said, He said, their goods shall be spoiled, and their houses laid waste. They shall build houses and not dwell in them, homeless dudes. They shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof. For the great day of Yahweh is at hand. It is hard come by, and comes on a pace. You hear that? Progressively, intermittently. You know, step by step, incident by incident, event by event, not just all out, but accumulative. That's how He does it. also known as what Christ was describing as birth pains. You know, contractions. That's what birth pains are. That's the word for birth pains today is contractions.
Right.
So, and the contractions, they come, you know what I mean, in waves. And with each blow, it's getting closer and closer to the bloodbath, to the bloody scene.
Right.
And the bloody scene brings a child into the world. What child would that be? The child that God has been calling his child from the beginning of the book, Israel. The 12 tribes, also known as the black man. Finally, when we get our kingdom, it's going to be synonymous to a child being born, a new child in the world. Everybody else already has theirs. Our kingdom is going to be built with modern technology, while the rest of these people's kingdoms is built off of old stuff.
All right.
That's the blessing behind the curse. God did have the temple destroyed. That was part of the curse. God had it to where everything that we had was destroyed. That's part of the curse. But there's a blessing inside of that curse, because when we do get ours back, it's all going to be brand spanking new. Everything. That's tight. That's how you know we're dealing with a mastermind. You can't make this up. I don't even know why people would say that white man wrote this book. You be like, man, what white dude is that? Right. He had to have been one hell of a white dude, right. You know? Because whoever it was, he had that. He had everything panned out. And if that's the case, then bump it. We still gotta acknowledge it, because whoever it was, he had it all panned out. Right.
Sin V style.
Don't try to get me with the whole white thing. Cause I can look right past. I'm like, oh, he was a white man. I'm like, man, white man wrote that book. I'm like, he must have been one hell of a white dude, man. Cause this white dude then wrote all about you. He knew you. He predicted all of this about you. I can show you the scriptures that talks about how the princes they don't wear their holy garments. Now they walk around with heavy clothes. Today we call them baggy, sagging. The Bible saw that and was like, man, them dudes is gonna be walking around in heavy clothes. Just now said it's going to be tripping on all those that be wearing strange clothing. Then you look and you're like, according to the Bible, it shows us how we used to dress. Oh, and you're like, and yeah, that is kind of strange, especially when we get to the provocativeness. That gets strange. Then when you get to the sagging of the pants, that's strange.
SinVStyle.com.
That's even strange in this place. And this is Babylon. This is the mother of harlots. But there's a line drawn. There is a certain dress code that is expected in certain places and activities. But you get into the underworld.
SinVStyle.com.
Where all the lower existing people dwell. Man, and it's damn near anything goes. Anything goes. It'd be hard to tell the difference between a prostitute and just a person. What? Yeah, I said it. It'd be hard to tell the difference between a prostitute and a person. Yeah, last night, check this out. Last night, we saw somebody. Shit, I thought it was a faggot.
Right.
I get on him. Man, according to the book of Leviticus 18:22, you damn faggot. Excuse my language, children. And then the person says, I'm just gonna say person. The person says, no, I already have, I'm a female. Basically says, I'm a female. Malak come through like, man, get your ass out of here. You know what I mean? Lying ass gay dude. So so I'm like, wait a minute. I had to ask myself, did that person tell the truth? Because I don't know. Like, I don't really know. Can't tell the difference. Huh?
Question even come up.
But because I'm looking, I'm like, did the person tell the truth? Is this? Because I thought it was a man dressing up like a woman.
And it was a woman.
It said it was a woman. But when I said it, I had to ask. I was like,
a woman that looked like a man dressing up like a woman.
Yeah.
Whoever it was all messed up.
It was all bad. I was like, I can't. I said, this is the strange apparel place. I'm done. Yeah. This place got the strange clothing. This is it. Yeah, like if there has ever been a time where some strange clothing people had to be destroyed, it would have to be this place. You can't get any stranger.
Right.
47 shots.
I was totally thrown off. And then the crazy thing was, so everybody was like, no, man, that was definitely a dude. So I was like, hey, I didn't know. I thought it was just you know what I'm saying? I was like, I was just wondering, was it? Because I wasn't sure what it was.
Right.
So I was wondering, I'm like, is it telling the truth? Is it just like an ugly ass female?
Right.
Yeah. I was like, hey man, for real, is that really like just like an ugly ass female? And they're like, no, that's a dude. Well, that person came back later on.
Right.
It was a lady.
It was a woman? How did you prove it? How did she prove it?
You can see her now, she's walking up. She took off the whole costume.
Right.
She took off all the stuff.
Right.
And now she's walking up.
Oh.
As a human being now, like who's the real person really is, and you're like, oh shit.
Right.
This is like some like grandma or something.
Right. Right.
Just completely thrown off. I was still confused. And I was like, I'm done.
Right.
I'm not even gonna say nothing because this is a strange nation. To where God says, I'm gonna take you from this. I'm gonna take you from all this confusion. Take you from all this BS.
Right.
People running around just wilding out.
Yeah.
There has to be something different than this.
Yeah.
But as of right now, this is supposed to be the top. You wanna be on earth and you wanna hit the top quality of existence. You know what I'm saying? It was known to come here. You come over here, man, you can get down. But this can't be the best. Because once you look into it, you start going through its closets, you see it's full of skeleton bones and cobwebs, man. This place is bad. Watch this. He says, it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles and with lanterns and punish the men that are settled on their leaves. Okay, I'm going back to the Matthews. All right? Yeah, I said it. He says, for great, I'm down at 14, my bad. It's for great, for the great day of the Lord is at hand. It is hard by and comes on a pace. Horrible is the tidings of Yahweh's day. Then shall the giant cry out. For that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and heaviness, a day of utter destruction and misery, a dark and gloomy day, a cloudy and stormy day, a day of the noise of trumpets and shams against the strong cities and high towers. So if it has this such of a negative description about the day of the Lord, he would have to give us a really good reason why. If the laws are not even being acknowledged, we don't have to acknowledge the laws. Who is this supposed to be happening to, and why is God disrupting these people's supply chain? You get what I'm saying?
They disrupt this into themselves.
No, he said that he prophesies. No, he said that he's going to do it.
Right.
He said it. Nobody does none of these things themselves. He just makes men do the things.
Right.
But they're not doing them themselves.
Right.
They do the things.
They do. He's directing what they do.
He is responsible for all of that.
Right.
And when we're seeing these things, he disrupted their supply chain.
Right. Yes.
Nobody does that to themselves purposefully.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you have to be, he says you give them the spirit of error. You have to be making just plain errors, but you just didn't think that it was wrong. You know, they said we're going to shut down the whole country. Everybody stay in the house. They thought that was a really, really, really smart move. And then the supply chain just bunkers out.
Right.
Now they're looking like, whoa, snaps.
Right.
What a mistake that was.
Who caused that?
Right.
Right.
And then, so now they're just, they're playing damage control.
Right.
This is all damage control now, man.
Yeah. That's all they can do.
Yeah, because this kingdom is done.
Right.
If you was like a rich person, if like black people was rich, it wouldn't be that much here. There would be a lot less of them here.
Right.
If we was always like rich people, we would be part of that in crowd. That when this country hit its position, people dipped. We will be a part of that. They were like, "Oh man, America's done." Like, "Oh yeah, like yeah." I had some land out in Timbuktu. I got some land out in Sweden. Which one? Email that shit. Whatever. But the Negro can't be able to escape that easy. The Negro got to have his mind right before he goes and turds on somebody else's peaceful scene. Cause you know that whoever he comes buddy with, if he's a gang member, he's gonna teach him all kinds of gang things. Next thing you know, they blood feuding out there in Nigeria or something. As if these people don't already have enough issues to be dealing with when you got the Chinese dudes over there kung fu kicking them and whopping them upside their head with bamboo sticks. He says that the day of the Most High, the day of the Lord is not a day that if you was not in the right with God, you wouldn't want to see. You know, you ain't right with God, you don't want to see that. It's bad. It's going down. Watch this. He said, I will bring the people into such vexation that they shall go about like blind men. I will bring the people into such vexation that they shall go about like blind men. In other words, don't know which direction to go, don't know where they're going and where they're coming from now with all this. They blind. No strategy. All the strategies are failing and whack as if these dudes are just blind. Man, that's that same spirit of error that he said he's going to give them. And what is that? 19 of Isaiah. So he says, they'll be going about like blind men because they have sinned against Yahweh. Their blood. So how did they sin? How did they sin against Yahweh? When they say, he says that the laws, we're not under the laws. But 1 John 3 and 4 explicitly says that sin is the transgression of the law. We get right here, and the day of the Lord is dark and gloomy and terrible to all these people, and he causes them to go about like blind men because they have sinned against Yahweh. And sin is the transgressions of the laws. That's a cut.
Yeah, I always did know that the law was valid.
Oh yeah.
All right.
But we have a brother on here that doesn't believe that.
Doesn't believe it?
And they believe that, and it sounds to me that they're actually relieved.
That they're not subject to the law anymore?
As if when you read it,
because they know they can't follow the law.
It doesn't say that though. It says that the laws are not grievous. They're not hard.
Right.
What's hard about not stealing? What's hard about going to the Sabbath?
Right.
What's hard about not being a fornicator?
Right.
What's hard about not doing Christmas?
Not hard at all.
It ain't nothing hard about not celebrating Christmas. There's nothing hard about not celebrating your birthday.
Right.
It ain't hard at all. It's easy. It's the most easiest and liberating thing that you can actually apply yourself to do.
Yeah, Christmas is the Yuletide.
Yeah, man.
The Yuletide, it means tide, the sun tide.
Yeah.
When the sun goes further and further south as the winter gets there, when it gets down to the bottom, they call that the Yuletide because it comes back up.
Yeah, they worship the sun.
They celebrate the sun coming back up.
They worship in the sun.
Right.
But it goes even further. That is actually something that was, you would see that first being done with the defeat of Samson.
The what?
The defeat of Samson. When they defeated Samson, and they plucked out his eyes.
Oh, Samson, right, yeah.
Yeah, they celebrated by making merry and giving each other gifts.
Right.
And then you see in the book of Revelations, chapter 11, the same thing happening again after they destroyed the two kingdoms, the northern and southern kingdoms.
Right.
After they destroy the northern and southern kingdoms, they do the same thing again. It says that they're going to make merry and send each other's gifts. And then you see in Jeremiah 10, it shows you that you're not supposed to actually do after the customs of the heathen. And it tells you, it describes the Christmas tree on how they put it and they nail it so it stands up with planks and they deck it with silver and gold. Right. With a star. Yeah. That's in the Bible. Yeah. The Christmas tree, the making merry, and the exchanging of gifts. It's all in celebration to the defeat of black men. Right. The world is about, the whole world, the whole existence that we've been living for the last 3,000 years has been about Jacob versus Esau, white men versus black men.
For the last 3,000 years?
That's what it's about. That's what this is all about. And the white folks getting all the other nationalities to join in with it.
It's fighting, Egypt was fighting, Ethiopians and the Nubians and the Libyans. Wasn't it?
That's neither here nor there.
Huh?
That's not a here nor there. These are that will be considered as an isolated event. We're not Egyptians nor Nubians. God doesn't write about the Egyptians nor Nubians. He considers them as the drop of a bucket. People are going to be people. They're not bushes. You know? But what this is about, existence has been about blacks versus whites. And when I say blacks, I'm not talking about everybody black. Us. We are the blacks. They are the whites. And the whites get all the other people to join in. That's the book. Not saying, yeah, okay, well, I hate all white people. No. Just like all white people don't hate all black people. Not all white people hate black people. But we're talking about the systems.
Yeah, the system hates black people.
The system.
It's a black system.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that not all whites hate black.
No.
In fact, most of them know. Most of them, what they think about paying their rent.
No, no.
And paying their car note and keeping their insurance up.
I don't know about if I can say most of them. No, most of them hate black people. Some of them don't.
That could be.
Yeah, that's more from my experience. You know, some of them don't.
Right. I think they don't like it when we show greater ability. That makes them feel very uncomfortable. Even the way we walk.
That might be the case.
I'm one of the-
Yeah, they ain't it.
more like more graceful.
So
Physically stronger than them. And then when they start talking to us and stuff, they find out they're mentally stronger than them. They hate us even more.
man, that's true. That's true though, man. Real talk.
Yeah, especially when
He
they
says-
find out that they can't out talk. That makes them real bad.
Watch this. So God says that He's going to do all these things because they have sinned against Yahweh. Right?
Yeah.
He says, their blood shall be shed as the dust, and their bodies as the myrrh. As the myrrh, the mud. Yeah, as the mud. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the wrathful day of Yahweh. But the whole land shall be consumed through the fire of his jealousy. For he shall soon make clean riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Man, he's doing this because they sinned. Because they have sinned against Yahweh. You know? Not ignorantly sinned, purposefully sinned against. In opposition. These people know good and darn well what they're doing. They know that homosexuality was not cool. They know that.
It used to be considered an ailment.
Huh?
It used to be considered an ailment.
What's that?
people who had sexual attraction to their own sex.
Yeah, that has to
that
be.
was considered an ailment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they needed treatment. You know?
Yeah, they know something is definitely wrong with you.
Right, something wrong. Right.
They're like, something's wrong
Yeah.
with you.
Right.
They're like, oh no, we're gonna have to tinker with something in your head.
That's
Like,
why that's why they call it an insult when you call them homosexual. Because a homosexual is a clinical term, you know, about somebody having an ailment. You know.
dang, that was some good stuff.
Right.
If you guys didn't hear that, he said that's why them faggots, them homosexuals, they feel offended by the word homosexual because it was a clinical term, which means something was wrong with you. That's profound. So yes, even these people sinned against Yahweh, knowing good dang well that was not appropriate behavior. And they should not have made that law. That's when the sins have reached unto heaven or to the chain of commands.
Right.
They're the ones that's at top. They're high rolling right now. But the high rollers are supposed to be keeping it cordial.
Right.
They're supposed to be having some type of reasonable sense when they're conducting and making laws on people.
Yeah.
But when they start trying to turn people's sexual preference into a law,
right,
and then you protected it with all kinds of other sub laws, right. It makes it to where it's almost like it's forbidden to even speak on.
Right.
You better not be anybody.
Right. Yeah. They'll bring you down.
Yeah, you better not be anybody.
They'll kick you out of your position and bring you down.
Better not be anybody.
When that dude, he was doing the mating game thing they play. What they call it? Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dude that was running the Bachelorette, he made a sermon. He said something.
Right.
They fired him.
Yeah. They coming after Dave Chappelle right now too.
Yeah.
Again.
Coming after who?
Dave Chappelle.
Right.
The comedian.
Right.
You know, he talking about trannies, transsexuals, and he, you know what I mean, he has his take on them, man, you know.
Right. Brother
just saying what he has to say, and they out there boycotting the whole company.
Right.
Gang of homosexuals out there trying to, you know, use the civil rights type of tactics and things, and piggybacking on the civil rights movement to try to usher in their gay thing.
Yeah, Oklahoma City had a gay parade thing, a pride parade, and I was delivering that day. I couldn't even get back to the pizza place because they had a straight line right across town. You know what I mean? To where they was on one street, 39th Street. You know, you couldn't get through.
Yeah.
You know, you go into the neighborhoods. You know, residential neighborhoods, they was blocked off. So somebody trying to get home, man. They can't even get home.
Yeah.
You know,
forcing me.
Right.
To change my life and go try to find another way home.
Yeah.
Because you wanna fag out.
Yeah. The street they made me turn around at, I'm looking at this big fat black dude, fat. You know what I'm talking about? Dressed like a girl. You know, convertible Cadillac.
Stupid. That's what I'm saying. Most High God said at Zephaniah 1:8. He says, "And thus shall it happen in the day of the Lord's slain offering. I will visit the princes, the king's children, and all such as wear strange clothing, Them people, man, them people gotta be visited by God, man. They ain't listening to us. They thinking that they proud. They thinking that they got away with it. Like, yeah, you guys tried to stop us, and we won. We can just be just totally gay. As a matter of fact, we can even go to the school and turn your kids out.
Right.
Have them reading gay books. What?
Well, raise them.
Right.
Now they can.
Well, they ain't gonna be raising minds.
They'll take your kids from you and put them in one of the home of 2 men and 2 women, call themselves married.
Yeah. I know.
Husband and wife and wife.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. This place can't be here no more.
Right.
Or if it is gonna be here, we can't be here with it.
Right. Yeah.
We can't be here with it.
Right.
We're making a big mistake trying to establish ourselves here.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, you ain't gonna be able to change too many of the things that is dangerous and detrimental to you. Doesn't matter if you own your own land.
It's the big cities that are the worst.
Yeah, of course it is, man. That's where all the jobs are at.
You're right. Mess.
They make it that way. They make it to where the best jobs are going to be in the cities,
Right.
which draws you to the bullshit.
Right. Draw you right in. Right.
Next thing you know, your kids are just, you're not really in control on how they come out.
Right. Yeah.
You're only partly in control when you're there.
Yeah.
Other than that, you got to be somewhere else, man.
Yeah.
You don't got time to raise your kids.
Right. Yeah.
I'm telling you,
They
man.
make it that way.
This is done purposefully.
Yeah. You don't pay you enough money to pay a house note.
Yeah.
The wife has to work too.
Yeah, I feel like everybody.
You can't just sit out to school and you go to work.
That's it.
They come home and they wait for you to come home and for nothing.
Right.
And they making their own ideas of what they're gonna be doing.
Yep.
And the kids are impressed with them. The kids that are the most popular in school are the ones they all want.
It's the one they model themselves after.
Model themselves after.
Mm-hmm.
And that one usually is the one that's a thug.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's usually displaying negative behavior.
Right, you're right. He look like he's the toughest guy. And everybody's attracted to him. Men are attracted to him. The boys are attracted to him because they want to be affiliated with that to carry that aura themselves.
Yeah.
The girls, they think those are the boys that's gonna be exciting and fun. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And next thing you know, your kid has been spoiled.
Yeah, he's acting like them.
Yes. And you don't know where it's coming from.
He's one of them now.
Yeah. And you don't know where it's coming from. Because you're like, damn, I actually, I thought I said some sensible things.
Why don't he want to go to college no more?
Because
why don't he want to help with the business?
Because you're not home.
Right,
You gotta be at somewhere else to keep him at home.
Right.
And if he or she, and if you ain't there, which is what's happening,
right,
it's like a roll of the dice. Some of them might come out well, and then there's too many of them that don't.
Right.
That's just what we gotta say. Like
that's what we got going.
We gotta say that.
Got that going right now.
Like, hey, that wasn't my case. That wasn't with me. Oh, man, okay, that's fine. All praises to the Most High, man. Cool. But there's too many of us that didn't turn out like that. It got bad. We turned out to be pagans and everything else.
Yeah.
It's like, so let's just cut the crap. According to the scripts, we're in the day of the Lord. The supply chain that has been disrupted is another indication. We covered plagues. That was in the scripts, letting you know that we're in the day of the Lord. We covered fires. That's in the scripts, letting you know that we're in the day of the Lord. We covered the tornadoes and whirlwinds. We talked about in past lessons. And now today, we covered the supply chain. The disruption of the supply chain. That is attributed to the day of the Lord. That is where we got chronologically in the scripts. All praises to the Most High, Bahasham Yahushai Hamashiach. That was in the name of, I ain't trying to say, but what the people call Jesus, the Christ, the Messiah. Don't forget to like and subscribe, man. Send these messages to anyone and everyone, so we can get that word out. It doesn't matter if they're going to accept it or reject it. Get that blood off your hands. Do your part and make sure that you are in good. Where they can't nobody say, nobody told me. You can at least say, hey man, remember I did. You be cool. Spread that word. All praises to the Most High, man. Let me get us another one. Maranatha.
Approximately 4:30 this afternoon. Same time God. At this time, we do not have any arrived on scene. The subject that he was pronounced deceased.
Be February 10th today, I showed up. Man, on my life, all I wanted was to blow up. Remember, couldn't grasp on my dad to get the dough up.
They call me Tay, December 9th when I'm grateful I'm alive. Used to be times when eat, but we survived. Couldn't get us everything, but they tried.
Everybody wanna know now. Man, our life on a joke, huh? Growing up, ho, huh? And we still look for hope, huh? God said, let's give us hope, huh?
Yeah, remember feeling like we had it, but we was really poor. Ain't had the money, took the bottles to the corner store. No hot water for the bath, so we got it boiled. Remember that day when CPS was knocking at the door? Life ain't easy, now it ain't easy, my family needs me. Life ain't no joke, please believe me. I'm sorry for the hard times and the nights I fuss. No matter how bad things get, it's the Lord we trust. Life ain't easy, now it ain't easy, my family needs me. Life ain't no joke, please believe me. I'm sorry for the hard times and the nights I fuss. No matter how bad things get, it's the Lord we trust.
Came to the school and they took us out of class. Said who it was, but they ain't say it fast. And what y'all doing? Why y'all take us out of class? These are some questions they would ask.
Where y'all sleep today? Where y'all eat today? Did your mama leave you home, then sneak away? Asking me questions about my household. Yeah, we got our lights on. Yeah, we got a safe on. Yeah, my mama fight strong.
Got in an accident this one day, April 16th, the exact date. I thought I was dead, but they had faith. Let me take out back to that exact date. Take it off.
Blood all on the bike, blood all on the ground. He's panicking, told him I got him quiet, don't make a sound. Held him in my arms, crying, his bleeding face on the ground. Man, everything was fine till we heard that sound. Dante.
Watch out. I got him.
What happened?
Go get the car. I got him.
You see, God worked miracles. God worked miracles. He was there for me, so God, he be there for you. God standing with you, promise you not alone. God can do anything when you call his phone. Ain't gotta stress about this, ain't gotta worry about that. Gotta change your life and get you back on track. Put your trust in the Lord. One thing that's true, if you give it all to God, it'll get better for you. Man, it's beauty in the struggle. I say there's beauty in the struggle. Be grateful, stay humble. Cherish what you have and don't stress if you poor. If you think you got it bad, somebody's going through more. Life ain't easy, nah, it ain't easy. My family need me. Life ain't no joke, please believe me. Life ain't no joke, please believe me. Hey man, love your life. Yeah.